Well, diabetes is one of the world's most deadly diseases. Experts say it's linked to 1 out of every 11 deaths. Of course, today is World Diabetes Day. Let's get some perspective now with my colleague, that's ENC reporter Michael Marila. Michael, welcome again. Now, we've seen that there's all kinds of trends that you can check to see whether there's progress or not. But what are you finding in terms of cases worldwide?
Bradan, what we've seen is a massive spike in the number of cases of diabetes and diabetes-linked diseases over the last 20 years. And as we're going to go through those graphics, I'll explain one of the reasons perhaps behind that. But let's start in the year 2000. Roughly 150 million cases identified around the world, Bradan. 2011, 360 to 370 million cases. But take a look at where we are in 2019, Bradan, 463 million cases. So in other words, it's almost tripled over the last 20 years. And experts say unless we manage this disease properly, we're going to continue to see a spike over the next 25 years. So climbing to nearly 580 million cases worldwide in 2030. And take a look at that, Bradan. In 2045, almost 700 million cases. So climbing almost 50% over the next 25 years. So crucial that we learn to manage this disease and hopefully eradicate it by doing more research and more prevention and awareness.
But there has been work done by scientists over for the longest time. I mean, they've been working on it. Some progress is made, but why are the numbers climbing?
Bradan, one of the reasons that we have sort of uncovered in terms of the research is urbanization. So scientists are saying that there is a big difference between the diabetes rate in rural areas compared to urban areas. People in urban areas tend to exercise less. They also have diets which involve a lot more processed foods, and that tends to be bad, and that tends often to spark diabetes, type 2 diabetes in a lot of people. But just to put this in perspective, Bradan, I want to focus on this stat. It's a scary stat. 4.2 million deaths linked to diabetes in 2019, and we did some maths on this, Bradan. That translates into 1 death every 8 seconds. It's a tragic situation, and we just wanted to highlight really that the alarm bells are ringing. 1 death every 8 seconds around the world.
I mean, some people go around without knowing they've got diabetes. It goes largely undiagnosed in many cases, and maybe it's too late by the time they find out they've got diabetes to really do anything about it.
And the International Diabetes Federation telling us that a lot of patients in Africa on our continent actually have diabetes and will live large portions of their life without actually knowing it. I think the statistic is 2 out of every 3 people with diabetes in Africa don't actually know that they have it. So some scary stats. If you are able to get yourself tested, go and do it as soon as possible.
Yeah, no, I've got a couple of members. My oldest son discovered at 27 that he had diabetes. I mean, suddenly he was ill. We didn't know what was wrong. We had to go through all kinds of tests until we nailed it that practically his pancreas doesn't produce insulin anymore. Because there's different types of diabetes. But it's very important that you get tested and do something about it.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, Michael Marila, as we focus on World Diabetes Day.